And now it's time for this week's Brookville News. First thing is definitely, if you're not on the Brookville app, get the Brookville app. Use it a lot. Explore all over it. It's your lifeline during this time. You can connect with everybody on there. You can give there, but there's so much more. You can, check in on Sunday mornings. You can be part of Sunday mornings through virtual church there. You can see what's going on, if anything, in the future. Go into all the nooks and crannies. Do it all. Pam and I were reading in Joshua 8 in our devotions yesterday, and Joshua and the Israelites have just won the twin victories at Jericho and Ai, and they had just run smack up against the unmovable holiness of the Almighty God. And then they travel very intentionally to Shechem, a town that sits tightly between two large round hills. One is called Mount Ebal and one is called Mount Gerizim. Here Joshua reads aloud to all the Israelites every word, this is a quote, every word of every command that Moses had ever given in their entirety. Imagine that. Play that out in your mind for just a second. Every word, all the Israelites out there at this little town Shechem between these two mountains. Here's the kicker. That kind of godliness that was started right then, that kind of godliness held for a mere 20 years or so. I say a mere because in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't very long at all. Just prior to this story, the Israelites had spent 40 years doing circles in the desert purely to ensure that everyone over the age of 20 died off because they had rejected God. Then we have this bright moment of godliness with Joshua, and the people held that just long enough for Joshua to die. Then they went right back to their own way, you see in Judges 2, 6-15. In fact, the only time that they returned to this kind of a godliness moment between Mounts Ebal and Gerizim that we see in this story was partway through the reign of King David and just into the first part of his son Solomon's reign. That's it. It was never more to occur. The whole way to the now. Never happened again. So it just lasted for this little bit of time. I got to thinking about that, and for me, the takeaway was that God has given us this time of shutdown, perhaps, and staying at home in the loneliness to call each of us back to single-hearted devotion to Him alone. I've been studying that a little bit in 1 Corinthians 5-7 too. Maybe it's His desire that we do whatever we have to do in our situation to be singly devoted to Him. That will look different for each one of us. It will be different choices in each of our lives. Whatever we have to do to be singly devoted to Him. Maybe He's given us this moment of waiting in silence and barrenness so we can iron that in for the future, for future generations in our own family and among our own friends. Not only for ourselves, but also for those who are around us and in our lives. Deuteronomy 6:4-9, in that section, Moses has something to say on this very point. Surely this is a moment He's given us to each make sure that those who are without around us, those who are without food, without hope, without technology, that they have what they need as we can give it. Right now we're planning to make DVDs of what we do on Sunday mornings and hand out to people in our church and in town, particularly Council of Aging, if we can get through to them, people who cannot join us virtually because they don't have the technology even to join us on YouTube. And we're also thinking up some other ways to just show the town that we are here, that we love them, that we're praying for them during this time. On that note also, this is Good Friday week coming up. So on Good Friday, we plan to do a virtual church time at 7 o'clock on Friday evening, this coming Friday. So make sure you tune in for that. So many of you are doing reaching out to others and making sure those around you who are without that you are being there for them as much as you can. And I'm hearing bits and pieces of it as you do it. You Brookvillers are certainly worthy of wearing the colors of the King. You mirror Him so beautifully, so consistently. This is what He says. This is what you are to those around you. You are a mirror of who God is. He says in Psalm 36, Your unfailing love, O Lord, is as vast as the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches beyond the clouds. Your righteousness is like the mighty mountains, your justice like the ocean depths. You care for people and animals alike, O Lord. How precious is your unfailing love, O God. All humanity finds shelter in the shadow of your wings. You feed them from the abundance of your own house, letting them drink from your river of delights. For you are the fountain of life, the light by which we see. That's all for now, and we'll see you, Lord willing, next week for Brookville Wire.